The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another GoldMine 101, our regular series of short GoldMine presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of the system. And this morning I'm going to cover address label printing in GoldMine, a built-in feature in GoldMine. Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and my company Wizard Systems are a specialist CRM system supplier who helps small and mid-sized companies, organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing and customer service through the use of simple and affordable software solutions like GoldMine. This presentation will be about a quarter of an hour or so in duration. So it's just an overview of the address label printing feature in GoldMine, not meant to be in-depth training. My company, Wizard Systems, offer many extensive training and support options if you need any more advice or instruction. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end of the session. Also, I'll give you an update on any product news that we've got as well. This call is being recorded, by the way, so after the presentation, you will receive an email with a link to the recording, which you can share with your colleagues, and we'll most likely pop it up on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, so let's get started. As I normally do, just a brief introduction into Wizard Systems. We are a specialist CRM solutions provider. GoldMine is one of the main systems we provide here, and we offer an extensive service around GoldMine, the software, upgrades, implementation help, training as and when you need it, also at any location as well or online. And we've got a friendly, responsive, permanently manned GoldMine help desk here ready to answer any of your calls. Okay, so let's get into label printing then in GoldMine. So let me just pop into GoldMine. So here we go. The label printing is accessed in the report area of GoldMine. So you may have the reports button on your GoldMine toolbar, or you can click on your go-to menu and pop down to reports. And there we are, you get to the same place. There are different categories of reports, contact, calendar, service analysis, but we're here in the label envelope. So you get this already with GoldMine, and some built-in formats for the Avery series of label printing when you're printing out sheets of labels at a time. So these labels that are built in, you've certainly got the US ones, but you also have the European ones, most commonly used in Europe and the UK, the 7 series, 7160, 7162, 7163, and they generally alternate between 2-column or 3-column labels, and then it's down to the number of rows or the number of addresses going down the page, typically 6 or 7. You also get a nice little preview as well, just to do a sort of mental check that you've got the right label selected. You can create your own also, probably best to do that as a cloning operation. So any of these reports in GoldMine, rather than starting from scratch, it can be quite good to try and find a report that fairly closely matches what you want it to do as regards the layout or the format of it, and then right click and select clone. You're creating a copy of it, you're retaining the original just in case you need to go back to it. Now, before printing out your labels, and incidentally, these labels will work with a filter or a group in GoldMine. So typically you won't be printing out labels for address labels for all of the contacts in your database. You'll be selecting a criteria via a filter or a group to fine-tune the exact subset of contacts that you want to to print out address labels for. But if you right click over the label itself, and you can go to sorts from the local menu there. This is where you can determine the sequence in which the labels come out. Is it alphabetical order? Is it postcode order? Or something like that. So take a look at that also. I would also advise, before printing out a mass load of labels, to do a little bit of what I would call calibration of the label to the layout, to the actual layout of the labels or the A4 sheets that you've got. It may not always be correct, and you may get, sometimes you may get a little bit of label creep over subsequent pages. So the first page may come out okay, but the second page may slip maybe by a millimeter or something maybe minute that over several pages will mean that your labels could print out across the dividing line between labels, if you see what I mean. So it's wise to maybe just print it out on just an ordinary piece of paper rather than just to sort of preserve your more expensive labels and then match it up against an existing label sheet. If it is slightly wrong and you need to adjust the depth of the label to match to prevent that creeping occurring, you can right click over your label and then go to layout, and that will show you the skeleton, the template, if you like, of the label. Click on the details section so you get those little handles appearing around the details section, and then ever so slightly move normally the bottom up just a tiny little bit, either up or down, depending on which way you want to go. So that's the best way really to if you do find your label creeping, pop into the layout and just adjust that that details section depth. Right, assuming that you're good to go, printing is very straightforward. You can click on the printer icon or just go right click over the label again and select print from this local menu. Up comes the print report dialog box where you can just do a little bit of fine tuning over the report. Essentially, there's two things here. First of all, going back to what I said earlier, over what range of contacts you're selecting. So you could select a previous filter or group, and then are you going to do a direct print to the printer or a window? I would advise always going to the window. Do a preview to the window, and this will just quickly then find those contacts. So this is pretty much a little preview of what it's going to look like. You can also click on this preview button on the toolbar there. Don't worry about the font being a little bit large or appearing to overlap. It will be all right when it's printed. So there you go. And of course, you could print when it's finished. You could print directly from here if you want to. So that is very simply label printing in GoldMine. Very straightforward, all built in. And as I normally do, I can open out our session now to any questions around this feature or anything that is on your mind re GoldMine CRM. So pop your questions into the question box, or if you're listening to this is a recording, you can always email us, tim@wizard-systems.com. First question from Neil, what is report scheduling? I saw that on the menu. That's if you've got Microsoft reporting services, I think it's called. We dovetail into that with GoldMine. So it is possible to schedule these reports it wouldn't be relevant to label printing, but if you had, say, a sales forecast report and you wanted it emailed to a distribution list, then that's a way of setting that up from GoldMine, as long as you got that Microsoft reporting services. Andre, can you print name badges? Well, probably the closest to that would be a one-off when you print off single labels, like shipping labels. So yes, I'm sure there are um, badge label printers out there. So yes, they should work with GoldMine. You'll most likely need to create a new report, but we do work with a number of one-off shipping label printers, like Brother, for example, we've linked to in the past. Um, Casio, Seiko. Yeah, there's a few of them there that we've linked to. So it should work, Andre. Um, Sylvia, we don't use Avery labels, but we have something similar. Will it work? You'll Okay, so you most likely want to find an Avery label format that closely matches what you've got. So are your labels 2 columns by 7 or 3 columns by 6, for example, and then clone one of those Avery label formats, make it your own, and then do a few tests on a plain sheet of paper, again, to not waste your more expensive label sheets. So yes, it should work fine there, Sylvia. Simon, will it do additional contacts? Yes, I believe there is support for additional contacts. Again, when you right click over a report, there is when you go to the options, there is a little tick box there to select additional contacts in that report. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions coming through. As I normally do on our 101 sessions, I like to keep you up to date with things happening on the GoldMine scene. Our next GoldMine training course, probably the last one before the holiday break, is going to be next Tuesday, an intro course on GoldMine. So contact us if you've got any new starters or need a refresher on the basics of GoldMine. It's a full-day course at our Bristol location. The latest release of GoldMine has just been announced. We'll be posting more information about this up on our GoldMine blog shortly. Let me just pop into. So we've got our GoldMine blog there. And let me just find the README that we've got on that as well. There we go. There is a README that again we'll be posting up on the GoldMine blog, just to give you the full access to all the details of this and what is fixed and so on. The latest version of GoldMine is 2019, and so there are some new features, and very importantly, there's compatibility updates as well. So compatibility Windows Server 2019, SQL Server 2019, and Office 2019 if you're using the Word link or the Outlook link. Yep, so that's just been released, and if you have a maintenance contract with us, let me just pop back to my slides. If you have a maintenance contract with us, that allows you to download those upgrades, updated versions, and apply them to your own GoldMine system. So that brings me the end to our 101 session today. If you've got any topics for future presentations like this that would be of interest to the GoldMine community, please let me know. My name again is Tim Wilmot of Wizard Systems, email address tim@wizard-systems.com. But thanks very much for your time. The session this morning looking at label printing in GoldMine, and we'll catch up with you next time. Thank you very much indeed.